Okay, today this is Sweet William in Armenia, Colombia, from Armenia, Colombia Realty for Expats, coming at you. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Colombian peso and what's happened in the last week. If you're looking for predictions or forecasts, no, that's not what I'm about. Some of the experts that I follow, they are the ones that come out and try to predict the future. I'm not into that. I'm going to give you some things that I've heard in the last week, and also links will be in the description below that you can go and read the articles. A little bit of background. I've tracked and recorded the Colombian peso daily for 7, 8, 9 years. I have 4, I think it might be 5 people in the United States that I follow, forecasters that work for the large foreign exchange houses and banks. These fellas, I presume, make quite a bit of money based on what they do in the foreign exchange market. And what I found is, for the most part, they're pretty good out 3 or 4 months. I'm sorry, 3 or 4 quarters. But after that, it's pretty difficult. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. So for these fellas to be fairly close out 9 or 12 months is pretty amazing. After that, though, it becomes kind of it's kind of a hodgepodge. The one big thing that I noticed was, before the last election, they were all saying the peso at the time was maybe high 4s to the dollar, 4,008 maybe, or 4,900. And they were all saying that if Petro got elected, it would be going to 6,000 and 7,000. I think 3 of them were at 6 or a little higher. One fella predicted 7,000 to the dollar. And once Petro got in, as I remember, I could go back and check my numbers because I still have those books from a few years back. I haven't kept them all. The peso went the other way, and it's traded as low as 3,700 to the dollar, kind of in that range. It was almost 51. I believe it was in November of 22. Petro, I think, was elected June of 22 and then came into office in August of 22. So it did increase a little, and then it was on a steady downward spiral. What I had up until about a week ago was these people forecasting 4,200 the end of this year, 4,500 the end of next. That would seem to be the consensus. What happened this week is I try to get the closing around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It comes from xe.com. It's the mid-market rate. Last Friday, June the 7th, it was 39.38 closed. And yesterday, June the 14th, it closed at 41.38. So exactly 200 pesos more. Based on 38, call it 5%, slightly over, but a 5% weakness in the peso in 1 week. And that's really worth talking about. There's been a couple of articles. The one that I think may be affected it the most, at least what the experts are saying, is that the tax revenues here in Colombia will be $5 billion less, US dollars less, than the government projected when they made their budget. And what's happened is Petro has decided to cut every department 5.6% on their capital spending for this year. Now, I'm a little bit reluctant to take that number as gospel. We're dealing with politicians, and I wouldn't be surprised that it ends up being 8.6 or 9.6. But it's a pretty heavy blow to the country. I forget what the number is based on GDP, the gross domestic product, but I think it's about 1.5%. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me. The other thing that happened this week, I don't know if it had any effect or not. The United States, I believe it was the Senate, cut the handouts to Colombia in half. And the reason for that, they said, was that Petro was not embracing the values that the United States have in domestic policy and some other things. He's come out in support of Hamas and the Palestinians and so on. And that's, I guess, not the stance of the United States. So those two things, I think, affected the peso. Obviously, the one with the budget is going to be the biggest hit. Right now, the forecasters are saying 4,400 the end of this year. They raised it from 42 to 44. And I don't know what they're calling for next year. I haven't seen any number for that yet, but maybe 46, 47. It's a big difference, 5%. I mean, I'm in the real estate business. So if you spend $200,000 here on a home, and you can buy something pretty special for $200,000, but in 1 week, if you compare the Friday to Friday, that's a $10,000 savings. That's worth talking about. That's worth saving. That's worth putting in your pocket instead of the seller's pocket. So like I said at the beginning, I don't know where this is going. I'm just pointing out to you some of this is almost rumor, some of it's written. I'll include what links I can find in the bottom, in the description area, that I think are relevant to the issue, and you can make your own decisions. I believe that it's going to continue to be weak, but at what speed, I have no idea. I mean, it could be, it's 41.38 now close. It could be 42 at the end of the year. I guess you could say that was weaker, but I'm not making any predictions. I'm leaving that to the so-called experts. That's it for today. William Hutchison, Armenia Columbia Realty for Expats, Salento Columbia Realty. I live in paradise, and you can too.